am Dr. D. Akila Devi, Associate Professor, Department of Pharmaceutics, School of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Vistas, Chennai. Today I am going to present the topic colloidal dispersions. The definition for colloids. Colloids are polyphasic systems where at least one dimension of the dispersed phase measures between 1 to 500 nanometer. Some of the pharmaceutical applications of colloids are they are of better compliance. They can be easily swallowed by children and elderly. Some of them are used as excipients, that is hydrocolloids. Colloidal dispersions are used as vehicles, suspending agents, and carriers for all route of administration. They are used for targeting of drugs to specific organs. Example, liposomes, niosomes, nanoparticles. They are used for therapeutic purposes. Example, silver colloidal salt used for germicidal purpose and copper colloidal dispersion used as an anti-cancer agent. Some of them are used as coating agents. Colloidal dispersions of latexes are used as coating for granules and tablets. This slide shows about the different sizes and shape of the colloidal particles. The colloidal particles are of spherical globules, short rods and ellipsoids, and oblates and ellipsoids and flake, and some of them are long rods and threads and loosely coiled threads, and some of them are branched threads. We can see about the classification and comparison of colloids. Colloids are of three types. First one is lyophilic colloid, that is solvent loving colloid, and second one is association colloid, otherwise called as the amphiphilic colloid, and third one is lyophobic colloid, that is solvent hating colloid. With respect to the dispersed phase or size, in case of lyophilic colloid, dispersed phase consists generally of large organic molecules lying within the colloidal size range. In case of association colloids, dispersed phase consists of aggregates, micelles of small organic molecules or ions. In case of lyophobic colloids, dispersed phase ordinarily consists of inorganic particles such as gold or silver. With respect to the interaction of the dispersed phase and dispersion medium, in case of lyophilic colloids, molecules of dispersed phase are solvated, that is, they are associated with the molecules comparing with the dispersion medium. The association is with water, example, hydrophilic colloids or organic solvents in case of lipophilic colloids. In case of association colloids, the hydrophilic or lipophilic portion of the molecules is solvated depending on whether the dispersion medium is aqueous or non-aqueous. In the case of lyophobic colloid, the material does not disperse spontaneously and special procedures therefore must be adopted to produce a colloidal dispersion. In the case of preparation of colloids, for example, lyophilic colloid, they are prepared spontaneously by dissolving in a solvent. In the case of association colloid, they are prepared spontaneously when concentration of the amphiphils exceeds the critical micellar concentration. In the case of lyophobic colloids, it requires a special procedure. With respect to the viscosity, in case of lyophilic colloid, the viscosity of the dispersion medium is increased greatly by increasing the dispersed phase at sufficiently high concentration. The salt may become gel. With respect to the association colloid, viscosity of the system increases as the concentration of the micelles increase in number. In the case of lyophobic colloids, viscosity of the dispersion medium is not greatly increased by the presence of lyophobic colloidal particles which tend to be unsolvated. Some of the classification of association colloids. Association colloids are generally called as the surfactants or surface active agents. They can be classified as anionic surfactant, Example, sodium lauryl sulfate and cationic surfactant cetyl trimethyl ammonium bromide and non-ionic surfactant polyoxyethylene lauryl ether and ampholytic surfactant dimethyl dodecyl ammonopropane sulfonate. Examples of colloidal dispersions. When solid is used as a dispersed phase and when solid is used as a dispersion medium, we can obtain a solid sol. Example, pearls and opals. And in case of liquid and solid, we can obtain a colloidal type of solid emulsion. Example, cheese butter. In case of gas and solid, we can obtain a colloidal type of solid foam, example pumice and sponge. In case of solid and liquid, we obtain a sol and gel, example jelly and blood. In case of liquid and liquid, we obtain an emulsion type, example milk and mayonnaise. In case of gas and liquid, we obtain a foam, example whipped cream and shaved cream. And in case of solid and gas, we obtain a solid aerosol, example smoke and dust. In case of liquid and gas, we obtain a liquid aerosol, example clouds and fog. In case of gas and gas, no colloidal type is produced, and since gas and gas produces a solution. What do you mean by Kraft point? Before discussing the Kraft point, in the case of association colloid, the formation of the micelles leads to the critical micellar concentration. That is, the minimum amount of the surfactant used to form a micelle is called as a critical micellar concentration. The solubility of the surfactant, that is the association colloid, helps in the formation of the micelles, also depends on the temperature of the system. Generally, the solubility of anything depends on the temperature. Hence, Kraft point is defined as the temperature at which micelles are formed. The relationship between the concentration, that is critical micellar concentration, and temperature on solubility of surfactant is explained by Kraft point. Cloud point. It is nothing but the temperature at which the clear solution of the surfactant turns into cloudy. This occurs due to the phase separation and precipitation of the surfactants. This type of behavior is exhibited by certain non-ionic surfactants containing polyoxyethylene chains having low solubility at high temperature. We can discuss about the preparation of the colloids. Colloids are of lyophilic colloids and lyophobic colloids. In case of lyophilic colloids, they have the greater affinity to the solvent and no special techniques are required to prepare. But in the case of preparation of the lyophobic colloids, some methods are adopted. The methods are dispersion methods and condensation methods. In dispersion methods, we have milling, grinding, peptization and ultrasonic treatment, and in case of condensation method, addition of the non-solvent is adopted. Dispersion method. This involves a mechanical conversion of the coarse particles into the colloidal particles. Milling and grinding. This equipment is the colloidal mill, which consists of two discs, rotor and the stator. The coarse dispersion is passed between the narrow space of these two discs results in the formation of the colloidal dispersion. The milling will be continued until the desired colloidal particle range is obtained. Ultrasonication method. The passage of ultrasonic waves through coarse dispersion medium creates regions of cavitation in liquid medium. These cavitational bubbles store intense energy, heating at 200 degrees centigrade and high pressures at 1000 atmospheric pressure. The collapse of these gravitational bubbles cause reduction of coarse dispersion to colloidal dispersion. Peptization. The process of converting a freshly prepared precipitate into colloidal dispersion by shaking it with dispersion medium in presence of small amount of electrolytes, example the baptizing agent or the dispersing agents. Here electrolytes impart charge to these precipitates and make them to separate, which results in formation of colloidal size range particles or molecules. Hence, in this process, ferric hydroxide colloidal solution is obtained. Condensation methods. It is opposite to dispersion method, that is, particles of subcolloidal range are made to aggregate or condense into colloidal particles. Addition of non-solvent method. Sulfur is soluble in alcohol. When a concentrated solution of sulfur is poured into an excess amount of water, the sulfur which is present in the molecular state gets precipitated as finely divided powder. These particles rapidly grow and fuse into colloidal dispersions. And some of the chemical methods under condensation methods are: by reduction, we obtain colloidal dispersion of gold, silver and platinum, and by oxidation method, we obtain sulfur colloid, and by hydrolysis, we obtain ferric oxide, and by the process of double decomposition, we obtain arsenic oxide colloidal dispersion. The purification of the colloidal dispersions. Colloidal dispersions may contain impurities such as ions or molecules or electrolytes. Hence, it is to be removed in order to obtain the purified colloid or the true salt. During the preparation of colloids, appreciable amount of electrolytes are used. The colloids can be purified by three methods. First one is dialysis method, and second method is electrodialysis, and third method we have ultrafiltration. In the case of dialysis method, so this apparatus or setup consists of a glass tube which holds a semi-permeable membrane which consists of the parchment or the colloidal membrane. This glass tube is, is fixed into a clamp, and then this glass tube is immersed into a water containing the electrolytes. In this glass tube, colloidal dispersions are present. Under the end of the glass tube, ports are attached in which the passage of ions are permitted but prevent the passage of the colloidal particles. So after some time, the colloidal particles are retained inside the glass tube and the ions or electrolytes pass through the pores. And this method is electrodialysis method. Here we are applying a potential difference, and hence the colloidal dispersion can be separated. In this case, positively charged colloid move towards the negatively charged cathode, and negatively charged colloid moves towards the positively charged anode. And ultrafiltration methods. Colloidal dispersion cannot be filtered by using an ordinary filter. So in the case of ordinary filter, it is to be impregnated with the colloidin, and hence these modified filters are called as the ultrafilters, and colloidal dispersions can be purified or retained by the ultrafilters. The properties of colloidal dispersions. We have three properties: optical property, kinetic property and the electrical property. In case of optical property, we have Faraday-Tyndall effect, electron microscope, turbidity, light scattering effect, and in the case of kinetic property, we can discuss about the Brownian motion, sedimentation, viscosity and diffusion. In case of electrical property, electrokinetics phenomena and donor membrane equilibrium can be discussed. First one is optical property. Faraday-Tyndall effect, electron microscope, turbidity and light scattering effect can be discussed. What do you mean by Faraday-Tyndall effect? When a strong beam of light is passed through a colloidal salt, A visible cone resulting from the scattering of light by the colloidal particles is formed. This is called as the Faraday's Tyndall effect. In case of electron microscope, the particle size, shape and structure can be determined by using electron microscope. The radiation source is a beam of high energy electrons having a wavelength of zero point 0.1 angstrom. Electron microscope has high resolution power. Shorter the wavelength of radiation beam, greater the resolution power will be there. This slide projects about the scanning electron microscopy of the silver colloids. Turbidity. Turbidity method is used to estimate the concentration of the dispersed particles and molecular weight of the solute. The principle is used to measure the turbidity. The instrument used is spectrophotometer. If the amount of the dispersed solids is high, more light is scattered and the transmitted light will have less intensity. Light scattering effect. This property depends on the Faraday-Tyndall effect and is widely used for determining the molecular weight of the colloids. It can be used to obtain information on the shape and size of these particles. Scattering can be described in terms of the turbidity tau. The fractional decrease in intensity due to scattering as the incident light passes through 1 centimeter of the solution. At a given concentration of the dispersed phase, the turbidity is proportional to the molecular weight of the lyophilic colloid. The molecular weight of the colloid can be obtained from the following equation. Hc by tau is equal to 1 by m plus 2bc, where h is the optical constant and c is the concentration of the solute and m is the molecular weight and tau is the turbidity and b is the interaction constant. Kinetic properties, we have Brownian motion, sedimentation, viscosity and diffusion. The Brownian movement is the erratic motion that results from the uneven collisions or random motion of the particles in the dispersed medium. It is observed in the particle size range as large about 5 micrometer in the case of the colloidal particle. The velocity of the particles will increase with a decrease in particle size and reduce with increase in viscosity of the dispersion medium. Sedimentation. At small particle size less than 0.5 micrometer, Brownian motion is significant and tend to prevent sedimentation due to gravity and promote mixing instead. So we use an ultracentrifuge which provides stronger force to promote sedimentation in a measurable manner. Viscosity. It is a resistance to flow of system under an applied stress. The more viscous a liquid, the greater the applied force required to make it flow at a particular rate. The viscosity of colloidal dispersion is affected by the shape of the particles of the dispersed phase. Spherocolloids dispersions have low viscosity and linear particles have more viscous dispersion. If linear colloidal particles coil up into spheres, then the viscosity of the system falls due to the changing the shape. Diffusion. Since the size of colloidal particles is small, these can diffuse through membranes such as porous plug. Diffusion can occur spontaneously. Diffusion can be explained by Fick's law. Fick's law states that particles diffuse spontaneously from a region of higher concentration to the lower concentration until the diffusion equilibrium is attained. According to this law, the amount dq of the substance diffusing in time dt across a plane of area S is directly proportional to the change in concentration dc with the distance travelled dx. J is given by the equation minus ds into dc by dx, where d is the diffusion coefficient. And the diffusion is also explained by the Sutherland-Einstein equation. This equation is used to obtain the radius of spherical colloidal particles much larger than the solvent molecules. D is equal to Kt by 6 pi eta R, where D is the diffusion coefficient and K is the Boltzmann constant and T is the absolute temperature and eta is the viscosity of the solvent and R is the radius of the spherical particle. Electrical properties. We have electrical double layer and most important is zeta potential, and then we have the electrokinetic phenomena. We have electrophoresis and electroosmosis, and third one is Donon membrane equilibrium effect. Electrical properties. The most important property is zeta potential. Dispersed particles possess a charge on the surfaces. The distribution of ions in the environment of a charged particle is explained by the concept of the electrical double layer. When the particles move, this shell of the double layer also moves along the particle. The electrical potential in the plane of shear of the charged particle is called as the zeta potential. Zeta potential finds applications in predicting the stability of the dispersion medium. Zeta potential can be determined using the method of electrophoresis. In the case of electrophoresis and electroosmosis. So what do you mean by electrophoresis? Electrophoresis involves the movement of the charged particle through a liquid under the influence of an applied potential difference. And electroosmosis is the osmosis under the influence of the electric charge. When an electric field is applied across the length of the capillary, the counter ions near the charged surface will migrate towards the pole of opposite charge. Because the ions are solvated, water is dragged along the counter ion as it moves towards the pole of the opposite charge. Donon membrane effect. When two solutions containing diffusible and non-diffusible ions are separated by a semi-permeable membrane, the non-diffusible ions enhance the diffusion of oppositely charged diffusible ions. This diffusion takes place towards the non-diffusible ion containing side. This also reduces the diffusion of like charged ions to that side. As a result, on the side which contains non-diffusible ions, diffusible counter ions are more concentrated while the like charged diffusible ions concentrate more on the opposite side. This is called as the Gibbs-Donon effect. The unequal distribution of the diffusible electrolyte ions on the two sides of the membrane will obviously result in erroneous values for osmotic pressures of polyelectrolyte solutions. Stability of the colloids. The coagulation and flocculation indicates the instability in colloids. The instability of the lyophilic colloids occurs due to the addition of excess of electrolytes and addition of oppositely charged colloids and addition of non-solvent. What do you mean by off-Meester rank order series? The precipitating power of an ion is directly related to an ability of the ion to separate water molecules from the colloidal particles. According to this series, the anions are arranged in a series such as citrates more than tartarates more than sulfates more than acetates more than chlorides more than nitrates more than bromides greater than iodides. And in the case of cations, the magnesium ions greater than calcium ions, more greater than barium ions, and which is more greater than the sodium ions, which is more greater than the potassium ions. The coagulation of the lyophobic particles are due to the removal of electrolytes and addition of excess electrolytes and electrolytes of opposite charge. So, when during the dialysis process, while removal of electrolytes in case of lyophobic colloids, coagulation occurs and settling of the particles occurs at the bottom, and this is due to the primary minimum. Say for example, in the case of lyophobic colloids, when excess amount of electrolytes are added also, flocculation occurs and the product is unstable due to the accumulation of the electrolytes. And in case of the lyophobic colloid, for example, when positively charged lyophobic colloid is added to the negatively charged electrolytes, physical adsorption or flocculation occurs and naturally sedimentation of the colloids occurs. What do you mean by Schulz-Hardy rule? This rule states that the precipitation power of an ion on a dispersed phase of opposite charge increases with the increase of valence of the charge of the ion. Greater is the valency of the oppositely charged ion of the electrolyte being added, the faster will be the coagulation. So, aluminum ion is greater than barium ion and more greater than the sodium ion. How you can protect the coagulation of the colloids. So this process is called as the sensitization and the protective colloidal action. Protective colloidal action. When an hydrophilic colloid, example acacia, carrying the opposite charge is added to the lyophobic gold colloids, these get adsorbed on the hydrophobic particles and form a protective layer. The adsorption layer prevents the precipitating electrolytes or ions reaching the colloidal surface. Therefore, coagulation is prevented. The attraction between the water and polymers exceed the attraction forces among the particles. What do you mean by gold number? It is defined as the minimum amount of the protective colloid in milligrams which prevents the color change from red to violet of 10 ml gold salt by addition of 1 ml of 10% sodium chloride solution. Now, how much amount of the protective colloid or lyophilic colloid can be added to prevent the color change of gold from red to violet? So, some of the examples given below are protective colloid and gold number acacia 0.1 to 0.2 and tragacan 2 and gelatin 0.0005 to 0.01. Thank you.